Welcome along, guys. Well, today I'm out on something very sensible for me anyway. We're getting a bit of that touring, commuting sensibleness because this is the Suzuki V-Strom 650 XT, and what a beauty. So I've already borrowed the V-Strom 1000 from Suzuki, which I really enjoyed. It's a lovely bike, but I thought I'd try the 650 because as people know, I really enjoyed the little SV 650X I borrowed, and it's more or less the same engine as the SV 650, but it's just been down-tuned a little bit to give it a bit more torque. I think it's like 5 brake horsepower less than the SV. But it's got more torque, between sort of 2,000 and 3,000 revs, and to ride it you wouldn't believe it's a 650, the amount of pull it's got. It's more than you need for this type of bike, it really is. So don't get caught up thinking I've got to get the 1000. The 650 I think makes more sense. It's lighter, of course. This is 215 kilos, 10 kilos or so less than its 1000 brother. So it's a bit more lightweight, and a big bike like this, you know, weight does matter when it comes to manoeuvring it, etc. It's not quite as wide. You've still got a 20-litre tank, which with I think it does 68 miles per gallon or something crazy. So I mean, with a 20-litre tank, I've had this from Suzuki for a month nearly, and I've only had to put petrol in it once. Yeah, so I have ridden various different adventure style bikes now, and this is much like the others, but this has got the Suzuki inherent mechanical gorgeousness. I need to find an adjective for this Suzuki plushness. It's just got the gearbox is so smooth. It's got the little extras like the pull away assist, which all Suzukis have, and if you've got a pillion, because I've actually had Mrs. Chops on the back of this as well, the first bike she's been on the back of in like 20 years, she's been on the back, and the pull away assist, I'm not saying Mrs. Chops puts a bit of extra weight on the bike, but with 2 up, the pull away assist in traffic is really nice. So as you get the clutch out, it automatically revs the bike very slightly, just prevents you stalling it, so it gives you a little bit of rev increase of sort of 500 revs or so, probably not even that, 300 revs, just enough to pick up that initial slack as you let the clutch out. And it's a nice little feature, especially on a bike like this. And also, while we're talking about pillions, this has got an external preload adjuster on the back to adjust the preload on the rear shock. So if you're going to take a pillion, or you're loaded up with a load of luggage, which this has got facility for, and I've actually got it on the back in a minute, I'll show you, you can just wind an extra preload in easily just with that, you know, external adjuster, which is nice. Very nice. Oh, I've got to be careful of these roads. It's 6 degrees wet. It actually feels it's 5 degrees now. It's actually got a bit colder since I set off. So I've got an external temperature. Oh, I'm not over the manhole. External temperature. The dash, you know, the dash is nice. You've got your old-fashioned analog rev counter, which I don't mind that. I actually quite like a bit of an analog rev counter at times, you know. I think unless the TFT is extremely good, you can't see the rev counter as clearly as what you can on an old-fashioned tacho. You've got outside air temperature, you've got a decent fuel gauge, you've got miles till empty, you've got time, trips, you've got everything, gear indicator, it's fully loaded. Temperature gauge as well, you know, it's got all the information, even though it's quite a small dash, and it's one of the criticisms of Suzuki's actually, they tend to cram a lot of information in to a small area. This one has also got heated grips, which I've just noticed I haven't put on. Put the heated grips on, Chops. Now these are the 2nd generation of heated grips, Suzuki heated grips. The first one, apparently, I never tested them, but the first one apparently weren't very good. They just didn't get hot enough. These ones are thermonuclear. They are perfectly hot enough and ideal for British winters, but unfortunately they're not standard equipment. These are optional extras, and I think they're about 200 quid, but absolutely a must-have. Also, optional extras, this has got this little add-on screen. Suzuki make an equivalent, that's an eBay special, that I think it's about 18 quid, and it just takes that bit of vibration off your helmet, because all of these adventure bikes, if you're a bit taller, I'm 6'2", you tend to find the wind coming off the screen is just directed directly at your helmet. Whether you've got a peak, I've actually got a peak on this helmet, but if you've got a peak or not, you get a lot of vibration, or I get a lot of vibration on my helmet, which sounds like it could be quite a good thing, a vibrating helmet, but it's not when it's on your head. So that does create an issue, and every single bike, it's not just this, every single adventure bike I've ridden does that at motorway speeds, and we'll go on the motorway in a minute and we'll try a bit of that. But that 18 quid takes it over my helmet. I don't get any, I'm in a world of calm. Oh, it's hungry work, all this vlogging. Time for a breakfast break. Can I have a sausage and egg bagel?
As a meal?
Yeah, make it a meal, why not, thank you. With an orange juice, please. Better be healthy. What I'll do, I'll show you around the pannier system actually while I store my luggage. Smash it, thank you. Don't want to lose my precious cargo. Obviously you've got two side panels. This one's got the top box. These are optional extras. There is a version of the V-Strom which comes with all the kit on it as standard, but I think these are added as extras to the XT along with the heated grips, as I mentioned. So the usual business really. Turn the key, unlocks it to let you into the hood. So let's pack the precious Mackies. You can fit a full face helmet in there, which is great, so you can store your helmet in there. And then if you unlock and pull the lever, then you detach. It's as simple as that, and it just snaps on. So it's a really good system, and that's now locked. And it's the same for the panels. Simple, opens that right like that. There we go, you've got straps in there to secure stuff. Obviously this is the side with the exhaust, so it's got a slight cutout, which is pretty standard. And then pull that one to detach. A little bit of wiggling and jiggling, he says, and you are away with your luggage. And also, I was a bit worried how wide it was, but I've measured it, and actually the handlebars are like ½ an inch wider. So if you can fit the handlebars through the gap, if you're filtering, you can get your back end through as well, even if it is rather large. Electronics on this, it's got the basic Suzuki electronics package. It's the same electronics which are on all of the range, I think, all of the, you know, anything above 125 and scooters, that is. It's got this 2-stage traction control, level 1, level 2, with level 2 being the one with the most intervention. You can also turn it off, which is nice, so you've got the option to turn it off if you want to. It's got ABS, but you know, it's not lean sensitive. It's a relatively basic system, I would say. And that's it really for electronics. It's not absolutely laden, but it's got everything you would ever need. Oh, I can't believe it's raining. I cannot believe it's bloody sun's out and it's raining. Where's my rainbow? Where's my rainbow? Come on, at the lights, ready to let rip. No launch control. Half a tank of fuel. That should get me to the moon and back. Suspension on it is non-adjustable, apart from the remote preload on the rear. The forks are completely non-adjustable. I like the standard SV650, and they're not even upside down forks, they're conventional way up forks. It's adequate, you know, they seem to be set up quite well, and you can actually push this bike on. You get a nice dry section of country road, and it goes well. It's got a 19-inch front wheel, but despite having a 19-inch front wheel, it still handles reasonably well. I have the frost light on. It's 3 degrees, it's wet. But it's got more than enough pace for your commute home if you want to take the twisty route. Plenty of fun to be had on this. Back to the extras again, I just remembered, it's also got an external 12-volt power supply, you know, regular cigarette lighter type, which is quite a nice touch. The best thing about this bike though, just all of those great features is the price of it. This thing costs £8,000, brand new. That's for the XT version. 8 grand. How much is a GS going to cost you? I actually had a look, and there's some deals around at the moment, being the depths of winter. There's the I think it's called the XTA version, which has all of the panniers and everything as standard. I found one of those, brand new, pre-registered for £7,000. So that's all the panniers, all the extras this has got, £7,000. That is a bargain. And I tell you, these engines will go on forever. Starfleet would be impressed with the mileage you can get out of one of these engines. If I had to commute to work, I work from home, so I don't have to do that daily grind to work, which is quite nice. It's lovely. But if I had to commute to work, I'd want something like this. I wouldn't want to spend £14,000 plus on a GS. I'd rather buy something like this for £7,000 and then buy another bike for my fun bike. I don't want to take, you know, I can't afford 2 bikes at 14 grand. I can't afford any bikes at 14 grand. But if I had that sort of money, I'd be looking to get something like this to rack the miles on, to get filthy, to get beaten up, you know, and risk getting nicked, of course. Let's not forget the chance of it getting stolen if you're commuting on it. And getting something else as well with that extra saving, you know. Get yourself a sports bike, get yourself a naked. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I don't see the point in sploshing all of that cash on the GS when, in my eyes, this does everything, I'd say almost as well. Let's go in the pub, give you a little walk around of it, of this fine steed. You can find neutral at first attempt on a Suzuki. I love that. There she is, touring weapon. So the XT, you get these lovely gold rims. As I mentioned, you get this sort of belly pan arrangement around the exhaust. I guess it gives you headers and that, a little bit more protection. You get the handguards. I think it's an extra 600 quid for that XT version. For me, it's a must. Yellow wheels, gold wheels even, yellow paintwork. It's gorgeous. I mean, look at the size of that seat. Look at the size of that seat. Look at the size of the pillion seat. You've got the grab rails as well. It's you're not going to have any problem with the sore bottom on that. You're really not. And I may even do, I was going to do the iron butt challenge. Me and Womble were going to do the iron butt challenge on a pair of these. And unfortunately the dates clashed with something last year. I can't remember what it was now, and we couldn't do it. But these would have been perfect for the iron butt challenge. I'd like to do that still, but I know my butt is certainly not iron, and I don't think it would cope. I don't want to hurt my bottom anymore, but I really fancy that. Just trying to take something like this and do an obscene amount of miles on it. I don't know, maybe one day, maybe one day. That's your preload adjuster. So if you've got a pillion on there, that winds it off. You can hear it clicking. Wind it up if you've got lots of luggage, or you're a fatty like me. Better max it out. Let's get on the motorway and I'll show you how she cruises. Absolutely no problem is the answer. Now I'll give it some beans because we've got to join the motorway here, not much slip road. There we go, 75 straight away. So it's got some go. You really give it the beans, and that, you know, it's only a 650, but it delivers. It's impressive. It's enough for a commuter. You need no more. 65, full throttle, top gear, 80. So I mean, it's got all you need on the torque front, really. You can sit at 90 on this, no problem whatsoever. And with my little extra screen on there, I'm not getting, I've got a little bit of vibration on the peak of my helmet, but my head's not getting chucked all over the place. It's not bad at all. Let's take her up to 80. 80 miles an hour, just under 6 grand. You could sit at that all day long. I could drop a feather here and it'll just go down like that. It's nothing. The air here is completely still. It's not until you, well, it's really still here. Really still here still. The wind is here, right up there, with that screen at that angle. Let's give it a bit of chugging. Fourth gear. Let's go down even lower. 22 miles an hour in fourth, 2,000 revs. That pickup. That's not bad. That's not bad at all for a 650cc lump. It didn't even object too much. It's very, very tractable, that engine. It is an incredibly well-priced, capable bike. And if you want a bike to really just chuck miles at, why do you want to spend over 10 grand on it? Surely you want to, if you're going to put huge mileage on something, it's going to depreciate very heavily. So why not get something cheaper to bang those miles on? Something cheaper and ultra reliable to bang those miles on. I think this is where that bike comes in. Or am I just missing the point of this sort of bike? Am I just being tight? Maybe I'm just tight. As they say, every pound's a prisoner. This is power level 1, which is full power. Dickhead, man. This thing is absolutely bonkers. It's also pretty quick. Yeah, alright. Never mind getting beat up. Give me this any day of the week. Oh,